Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today what I want to talk to you guys about is I want to talk to you about cryptocurrency and the leverage that we're seeing in the cryptocurrency space and what that means for cryptocurrency prices like Bitcoin. Now, the thing that you need to understand if you are going to invest in cryptocurrencies is that the space is incredibly leveraged. Michael Burry has said that he thinks that there's 100-to-1 leverage easily within the cryptocurrency space. I actually completely believe that. There are some videos out there online where people show how to leverage money from one network to another network and utilize that to cross collateralize different things and basically create an infinite money glitch where you buy Bitcoin on network A and then use that as collateral on network B to buy more Bitcoin, and then you use the Bitcoin that you've got on network B to buy more Bitcoin on debt through as collateral on network A, and that's very simplified. But you could have network C, network D, and all sorts of a big tangled ball of mess, right? And if the price of Bitcoin collapses, all of a sudden, all of these different people are saying, "Hey, give us back our money," and there's just no money to be had. It's all completely legal at this point to do that, and it's the each network's own fault for not verifying that the stuff isn't already collateralized elsewhere, and it's just a big mess, and people are going to lose a lot of money, and that's going to cause the price of Bitcoin to be incredibly volatile, and other cryptocurrencies for that matter. You're going to see, big swings up because people are doing this and they're driving up the demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. And that's going to create big spikes up. And people are going to take that money and lose it, and they're going to get margin called, and that's going to drive the price down. And you're going to see basically what all this is going to do is it's going to create higher peaks and lower valleys. And I think that in the long run, this is a very bad thing, right? It's a very good way to destroy your own personal wealth. But the problem is that people don't the people who are doing this don't realize how much they're hurting other people, right? Because it's one thing to hurt yourself doing this. It's a completely another thing when it bleeds over and starts hurting other people, right? So if your parents were to come along and go, "Oh, hey, Bitcoin, great little investment that I could make," right? And they go and buy some Bitcoin, and they just buy it to hold it and whatever. The thing that you're going to see is that they probably won't take very much debt on it. But Bitcoin's going to go up and it's going to go down and it's going to go up and down because of this. And it's going to hurt the small time investor doing that. It's one of those things where essentially you're subject to the whims of people doing stupid things, right? And the reason why is pretty clear, right? The people who do this, if Bitcoin goes up, they make a ton of money. They can wind down that position and make a killing, right? Because instead of say they did this, and they got 10 Bitcoins doing this, right? But they only had enough cash to buy 1 Bitcoin. Right? Now, they've got 10 to 1 leverage. If the price of Bitcoin goes from $20,000 to $22,000, all of a sudden they've got a 100% gain. It's just that simple to make that much money, right? They would have $20,000 of extra money if they wound down that position. On the other side, right, if Bitcoin goes from 20,000 to 18, they've lost everything. They have no more money of their own money, right? They're going to owe more money than what they could pay back by selling their Bitcoin. So it's a very dangerous game to play. And the thing is that people don't realize how much leverage there is. Now, remember, Michael Burry was saying that he thinks there's easily 100 to 1 leverage in the cryptocurrency space. So I told you, at a 10 to 1, a 10% price swing is painful, right? Or incredibly good, right? You turn a 10% price swing to a 100% gain or a 100% loss. With a 100 to 1, it's a 1% change. In cryptocurrency, it's moving 5-6% a day. So much, right? Like, it's so much leverage, guys. So much leverage. It's an insane amount of leverage. And that's really what's driving the price of Bitcoin up and down and up and down and up and down. And the thing is that, if you've got a 100 to 1 leveraged position on Bitcoin and the price falls by 1%, you're wiped out. You've got nothing. And as people realize that these things are going on, they start cleaning out these people that are leveraged, right? They go, oh, I want my money back before you lose all of it. And they start taking that money back, and these people are losing money. And that's what drives the price down lower and lower, because you're getting forced sales. And the more forced sales that you get, the lower the price goes and the faster the price goes down. And so that's what the big fear is right now with Bitcoin trading right around $20,000, is that a lot of people have significant margin positions with cost bases around $20,000. Like, for example, Michael Saylor. Maybe not. It might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. Whatever. In his particular case. But you got to realize that he's not the only one that's leveraged up, and he's not the only one leveraged up at these prices, right? At these cost bases. And so a 1% movement down in Bitcoin from this point could trigger very, very quick declines as people get margin called out, and you move down, right? And if Bitcoin gets margin called down to, say, $12,000, what's that going to do to Ethereum? What's that going to do to Cardano? What's it going to do to Ripple? Whatever your cryptocurrency of choice is, right? It's not going to be pretty. It's just not going to be pretty, because everything is going to go down with the ship, right? And you can lose everything. Now, it's not so bad if you're not leveraged. You could probably hang on. But the truth of the matter is that, you don't know how painful it's going to get. Because if you drop down to $12,500 per Bitcoin, are people going to start getting margin called at 12.5 as well? And it's going to go to 10, and those people are going to, and then that's going to trigger more margin calls, and it's going to go to 5. It's going to go to, you don't know. You don't know how much pain is in there. And so when I look at the cryptocurrency space and I see how much leverage there is, and I see how much risk there is, and there are other risks too. We're only talking about the surface level risks with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right? The fact of the matter is that there are other things, right? There's no guarantee that people are going to accept Bitcoin as payment for anything ever, right? There's no guarantee of that. At least with dollar bills, there's a federal guarantee that says you have to accept my dollar bills, right? That's just law. It's written into law, right? You have to accept my dollars to settle my debts, period, right? There's no guarantee with that, with Bitcoin, right? Which is why when you do the math, we see that dollars must have at least 55 times the utility of Bitcoin, right? And that's assuming that's just current prices. That's based off of current prices. The fact that people don't understand this, right? And maybe dollars have 100 times the utility of Bitcoin. Maybe they have 1,000 times, right? You don't know. But right now, the price implies that it has about 55 times the utility of Bitcoin. And, that assumes that there are no other competitors to Bitcoin. That's another thing too, right? Like that 55 assumes that there are no other competitors. Now, if there are competitors, which we know there are, there's Ethereum and, a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, that actually drives that number down a little bit. So Bitcoin might be a little bit more useful than $55, but regardless, dollars based off of the implied price, the implication from today's prices is $55 if Bitcoin is perfectly exchangeable between dollars for dollars, right? You can exchange them back and forth, and they have the exact, and the only difference between them is utility, right? That's what today's price implies, because you can't go and spend Bitcoin as easily at a store, right? Guys, when I look at it, I go, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk. There's no guarantee that you'll be able to. Here's another risk. You can't guarantee the security of your Bitcoin unless you're keeping it in a cold wallet by yourself, locked in a safe, right? You got it on a USB, locked in a safe in your house. You can't guarantee the safety of that Bitcoin. And then you still can't guarantee it, right? Because I'm going to talk about a risk right now that a lot of people don't realize. So let's say you have your Bitcoin stored in a cold storage in a safe on a USB in your house. You get a nasty solar flare and it wipes your USB drive. Your Bitcoin's gone. It's just gone, right? So now you got to keep it inside of a Faraday cage as well, right? Nobody's going to do that. Literally, nobody's going to do that, right? I suppose that you could, right? But you can't guarantee that a bit won't flip. Like just quantum fluctuations. You can't even solve that by storing it in a Faraday cage, right? A quantum fluctuation and a bit flips on your USB stick. All of a sudden, your keys don't work, your wallet is broken, and you've lost all of your coin. It's gone, right? Now, let's be honest, we're talking about something that's very, very rare, that probably won't happen, but you can't guarantee that it won't happen, right, to you. And the more people that hold Bitcoin, that hold that, the higher the chances that it's going to happen to somebody. And so, yeah, there are so many hidden risks to cryptocurrency, right? And you don't know. You don't know, right? On the flip side, though, you could have a random bit flip and all of a sudden you've doubled your Bitcoin, right? Like, it could go the other way too. You can't obviously count on either of those situations happening, but they could happen, right? Just depends on which bit flips and where and what's going on. But you can't guarantee anything, right? And that's what I'm saying is there's just so many risks that come with crypto. And the fact that there are so many risks and it's so leveraged makes it a very dangerous place to keep your wealth. You can do it if you want, right? Nobody's going to stop you. But I just want to point that out, that you are taking big risks on a highly leveraged asset. Not that you're necessarily leveraging. Other people could leverage. It's the leverage that other people have that should concern you, because that could cause a price collapse. And without any earnings, without any, anything, it's just there, right? The only thing that you have is what the price is. And as I've discussed, the price, the upper bound on the price is just the number of dollars that are in existence divided by the number of Bitcoin in existence. That is the top mark of what your cryptocurrency could be, is, number of dollars divided by number of coins, right? That is that's top of the market of what the price could be for your cryptocurrency. And yeah, so that the price needs to be between 0 and that number. And the thing is that if the number of coins is increasing and the number of dollars is decreasing, which is the situation that we find ourselves in currently, that top number is going to fall. And as that top number falls, it's going to put pressure on what the actual price is, because the actual price is just going to be some percentage of that top number, which is based off of, things like how useful is the cryptocurrency coin. And so as that number falls, the price is going to fall too. And with as much leverage as there is, guys, in this market, I just don't see it. Like, you got to be very, very careful with your cryptocurrency. So that's all that I've got for you today. Take that word of warning, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace out.